Hello, this is Flow Sciences, and we are continuing our series of virtual showrooms. My name is Steve Jans, and today we're going to be focusing on our bulk powder hybrid isolator product. For the purposes of the demonstration, I will not be using personal protective equipment, but of course we always recommend safety glasses, lab coats, gloves, and appropriate processes and protocols that you would check with your safety officer with. The bulk powder hybrid isolator is a particular series of isolators that are meant for drum-sized quantities, pail quantities, large bags, or in the most case, something greater than kilogram quantities of material. A hybrid isolator is a product that we've had out for many years, and the new version of the hybrid isolator that we're showing today actually has continuous improvement from our other products, our other hybrid isolator, with increased what we're calling line of sight to be able to see into the product even better than the other isolators due to changes of pitch and angling of the product. We have increased circulation due to engineering of the airfoils, and the hybrid part, what we call the dual purpose of the isolator, is the draft shield, which is actually also a glove panel and can be removed, and we'll show that in just a few minutes. In addition, the bulk powder product has been a standard product for us for many years, and so what we've done is we've combined the technology of the hybrid isolator, which again is a dual purpose product which allows OEB3 and down to OEB5 containment, allowing the vented enclosure engineering to work without the glove panel, and also with the glove panel on, we actually change the speed with our dual speed fans. There are sensors in the glove panel to allow the fan to understand that, and the continuous low velocity containment that we provide is at about 0.3 to 0.5 meters per second, or about 75 feet per minute. So again, we've had an evolution of our standard products, the bulk powder, which has been out for many years and successfully containing, again, with our vented enclosure or open face, and we've combined these into a new product called the bulk powder hybrid isolator. The bulk powder hybrid isolator has HEPA filtration. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 HEPAs, which we'll show a little bit later, and the bag in, bag out technology. Integrated into the power box is the face velocity alarm. And again, the face velocity alarm is censored down into the glove panel, again continuing to give low flow of about 0.3 to 0.5 meters per second, or about 75 feet per minute. The product that we're showing today is a standard product, about 60 inches wide, or a little over 1,500 millimeters wide. It has glass viewing panels, polypropylene framing, LED lighting, and we'll show the internal in just a little bit. So what we would like to do now, we're going to take off the draft shield or the glove panel, but we're going to show a little animation while we do that.
Unique to Flow Sciences, this technology allows for simple removal of the glove panel to transition to an open face contained vented enclosure. Easily remove the quick release pins from the left and right support panels. Leave the glove panel off of the enclosure and store appropriately. You now have an open-faced CVE. When you have an application with higher toxicity, place the glove panel back on the system. Push the quick release pins in to secure.
Okay, so that was the removal of the draft shield and glove panel. And again, part of the construction of the glove panel are 10-inch or 8-inch ports, depending on the type of isolator that you purchase from us. I'm talking a little louder now because the fans have detected the removal of the glove panel, so the fans are moving a little quicker. And essentially what's happening, we're still in green go mode on our digital face velocity alarm. And also it should be mentioned that we have a mini helix gauge always on our bag-in, bag-out dual HEPA fan filter housings. The way the air works, we're going to show in just a minute, but the air is going to come from behind the operator, through plenums, up through a removable ceiling. Both the plenums and the ceiling are removable and toolless for cleaning purposes. And so why don't we go ahead and show the animation.
This means the room air is drawn through the face opening like a vacuum and keeps the toxic material from escaping the enclosure. The contaminated air is then drawn through the patented baffle system and into the dual 4-inch pleated HEPA filters that are 99.995% efficient. The fan then pulls the clean air through and pushes it out of the top of the unit where it can be recirculated or connected to house exhaust. The unit can be cleaned from face to filter, ensuring the prevention of cross-contamination with good lab practices. This is not possible in all containment systems, as some areas cannot be accessed to clean between samples, causing cross-contamination and degradation of sample integrity.
So that animation had a lot of information on it, and some of it needs to be reviewed. And basically what we're having is a laminar airflow go behind the rear plenum, so all the turbulence is caught behind the rear plenum. It moves above the ceilings and then through, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4 HEPA filters. And the HEPA filters, of course, always protect the fan, so there is no chance of contamination within the laboratory. Holding a little packet of sugar here, what this is about 1 gram. And so what we end up doing for many clients is we do factory acceptance tests or surrogate powder tests for your weigh and dispense operations. And during the animation, you saw the glove panel off and you saw the glove panel on. So for example, for a bulk powder unit, you might be moving upwards of kilograms, and we have factory acceptance test reports where we have operators working with the task duration that you have asked us to work with. For example, 3 operators moving 3 kilograms of material, and that material might be lactose or it might be naproxen sodium. But the idea is that the amount of material during your weigh and dispense operation always is measured. We can show containment with inside the hood with a process that we go back and forth with you on a protocol, and we have that operation locked and loaded during when we might be doing a factory acceptance test. One of the important things is we have a variety of good friends, global distributors, and third-party containment verification companies that we work with. So if you needed a site acceptance test, we can do that as well. All of these manuals come along with the product, the operations manual, the factory acceptance tests, site acceptance tests, commissioning, turnover packages, even custom cleaning protocols are available. So when the operator comes with inside the hood, they're doing an operation. They may be taking a sample, putting it in, closing, coming across, possibly doing some weighing and dispensing, and then want to go take potentially an API out, and then do possibly some weighing, dispensing, or blending operations. After they're done with their weighing and dispensing operations, they're going to move over and have any of the waste and take some of the waste, could be weigh boats, gloves, or other disposables, and put them into what we have as a double safe waste chute system. And again, there's protocols and operations on how to take that out. One of the things we'd like to show now on an animation is the way that the operations would be for actually taking the material out of the drum. It should be noted that we have a painted steel drum lift here, we have a painted steel table, and all of these are available in stainless steel in a variety of different options. You just have to, again, contact your representative or Flow Sciences and we'll show you our different arrays. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move to the animation of how the bulk powder changeout system works. Okay, so that was a very quick operation on showing, again, the typical change out, which is dependent, again, upon the safety review, the protocol review of the operation within our client companies. Typically what will happen is that the drums have two liners on the inside of the drum, but again, there are so many different configurations and so many different operations that as we go through the design process, what we would do is we're going to, these are just different PDF drawings, they're available in 3D, but for example, the middle on the top drawing is the drawing of the product that you see here. The one below it is an 8-foot wide system. The one on either side of the cardboard happens to be a system that holds different size pails on removable shelves. And again, what you can do is you can go to flowsciences.com to our task match, look on bulk powder, and you're going to see an awful lot of different configurations. The most important thing is that we have a great technical staff here. We have a great global dealer network, and they'll be able to take you through a variety of questions We even have a questionnaire on our Flow Sciences website, so you can get some good questions and good answers relatively within a 24 to 48 hour period. After we're done with the operations, one of the things that comes up is cleaning, because what we want to do is we want to clean between operations. Along with several companies, we have some great relationships. Right up the road from us in North Carolina is Berkshire. We have also IEST fellow consultants right here in our town that are able to help customize cleaning procedures for you if that's a question that you have. For the glass panels, the polypropylene framing, very chemically resistant. The dish phenolic resin surface, very chemically resistant. So we're going to be able to understand with you what your process and your protocol tends to be. As we wrap up this particular product show, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to show you the bag in, bag out operation within the fan filter units. Again, with your dealers or your certifiers, the typical life is about 3 to 4 years on these filters. You won't have to change it out, but it's important and a question that we always like to show, which is what is bag in, bag out? We're going to show that right now. So again, we have two filters. We have a primary filter, and then we have a secondary filter that sits right on top of that, always protecting the fan. Even during the change-out procedure, you can actually keep the unit running. So you can see this comes out into a pair of gloves, and then what will end up happening is an appropriate certifier is going to come in and take the filter and remove it as toxic waste. A quick mention also, when we're talking about different flexible bags and different operations like this happens to be a continuous liner. The continuous liner can be attached. We have this labeled as a universal side port. Depending on your operation, the hole can go on other sides, the waste chute can go on other side. It's all universal, left or right to left. You can put on the continuous liner if you need that. These are quite heavy. If you need to have operations go through the bottom, there are companies like EasyDock and other companies like Gaia and Hycoflex where we would attach these to the bottom of the enclosure. And then again, as we were showing in the animation, there's a variety of rubber rings that can go around the unit. And again, all of these products are going to be put into an operations manual for you, along with spares. The IQ, OQs, and all serialized information are available as well. So we've gone through a lot of information today. We'd like to thank you from North Carolina. We hope you are safe. We hope you are well. And I guess we're going to open it up for questions now. Okay, well, you can type a question into a chat box, I've been told. Okay, so we'll give that for a minute. If not, again, you can come, you can send an email to information@flowsciences.com. See more information like this. Request typical factory acceptance test reports. I think there's one question coming in.
Okay, Steve, we did have a question come in from Brittany. Where did the analyst place the drum lid while in the containment unit?
The drum lid, which is this black cutout, right? And again, it depends on the protocol for what people are doing. They can either bag this out, and there's a variety of flexible operations or flexible single-use bags for that. But typically it's put out of the way so it doesn't block the airflow. Okay. And again, if there's more information that you need on those particular applications, we'd be happy to have an email conversation with you. The last question I think we've had is on the mesh top fan, all right? And the mesh top fan, this would be a replacement instead of having a duct stub fan that we've had on the top, which leads to a thimble connection, right? And the thimble connection has a hose that goes to your house exhaust. If you don't have that, you need to recirculate, and you can bring that back here. And then this is what we call, I'll get out of the way, this is what we call a mesh top fan. And that's used for recirculation or if there are height requirements in the laboratory. We also have fan filter units that can actually be divorced from the unit, but again, it's depending on our communication back and forth with you, lab layouts and other process and protocol. So I think that's it for today. We're coming up to about a half hour. Oh, we have one more chat,
Okay.
another.
We got one more question coming in from Anonymous. What is the total height of the unit? And what is the height of the work surface? And is there a single connected option post-HEPA?
Well, this is a little over 8 feet from the floor to the top of the duct. And if I were to take a look at my handy dandy drawing that we would send you, you're actually going to see that this particular one, this is 56 inches from the bench all the way to the top of the duct stub. But what we're going to be able to do is send you really quickly a variety of drawings that show you, again, depending on the height of the room you're in, how the system would fit inside your lab layout. It's very important, placement is very important, and particularly the airflow is critical because we want to be able to provide you the containment, again, generally from OEB3 down to OEB5, and where the placement of the product is in with your facility is very important.
Okay.
One more.
And Raul asks, have you had reports of issues with stability of the weight measures in the scale inside the isolator because of airflow?
It's a great question. Something we get asked all the time, and the answer is no. One of the things that we have in a negative pressure environment is everything pulling itself together, right? So essentially, the vibration and the way we have our engineering is dissipated. And for most people that are using milligram or 5-place balances, typically they don't have a problem, and in a bulk powder you're generally not going down to 5 milligrams, but we haven't had any reports, and we do have studies, we do have a 6-place balance in our laboratories, and so we've shown 6-place stability, again, depending on how much material you're weighing.
And we had one more question come in. The pass-through can be put on either side, correct?
Right, there's, we can show this to you via videos or pictures, but yes, this can be put on the other side. Obviously, it's a slightly different unit because the door opens on the other way, but all of this is universal. Now, the idea of what flow sciences is, it's science of airflow. Our first and most important promise to you is good containment. We then work with ergonomics and process and your facilities, your operation, your safety team to make sure that the containment levels is achieved within the setting that you need it. And there's just a variety of ways that we communicate to make sure that happens.
Okay, we have another question. How does the face velocity sensor work on the hood? Do you use differential pressure sensors at the opening of the hood? Do you use some monitoring?
Okay, well, kind of 3 questions in one. So yes, we use a sensor. It's a thermistor, so it's pressure and temperature. Then inside the face velocity alarm, we have some proprietary software in there. But essentially, it's a thermistor. It's a hot wire anemometer. that is going to be able to control, there's a variable speed control on the fan module. So when your certification or your mechanical engineering companies come in, they're going to take a calibrated anemometer, take measurements at the face, and balance the flow of air with the fan within your particular laboratory setting. The other question can be answered because what we're taking is a differential pressure with the mini helic, and we report in inches, water column, and Pascal.
All right, and then we had one last question, I believe. And it was, do we need a special environment outside of the manipulation cabinet?
That is totally up to the client. Basically, you don't want the dirtiest and dustiest possible area, but we do have companies using these at warehouse inspection, right? And the idea is to have, again, a corner or a controlled area where there's not too much competing wind. So we're trying to alleviate, and we can overcome, a lot of currents and even people walking back and forth with the way the size of the fan and the size of the filter works. But for the most part, people use these anywhere from warehouse inspection all the way. We can make these out of stainless steel and glass, and into clinical trial in GMP facilities. So it's a very good question.
All right. I believe that was the last question, Steve.
Well, thank you. Be well, be safe, and we look forward to hearing from you on the internet. Take care.